Good morning, Kalifers. Today is Friday, December 23, and it's another beautiful morning. Welcome to my channel, My Pinay Life. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like and follow. Anyway, today's topic is an interesting one since it's the reason why I'm here. It's handicap accessibility, or shall we say wheelchair accessibility, because that's what my mother uses when we travel out and about with her. We bring her wheelchair with us. So this is the experience I have going into shopping malls or stores or sometimes restaurants. Living here in Miagao, Iloilo, which is a provincial area, unlike Manila. So here it's very inaccessible, I would say. Maybe except if you go to Iloilo City. There are some areas there that are, fairly accessible, but not 100%. I could give you a good example. I would say, let me give you one. SM City, SM Mall is not bad. There's ramps that we could access. There's elevators. And majority of the stores do have accessibility for them. The only problem is some stores, once you enter them, it's the aisle space that's a problem. You are unable to bring a wheelchair through with no problem. In fact, it's a problem for us. So if any one of you, especially expats, that plan to, have the use of a electric wheelchair or a manual wheelchair, once you enter some of the stores, you are unable to freely move about. That's what I noticed. They don't allot, a width space for accessibility. So that's a problem. Another problem is, which I always, go butt heads with the locals, is the use of the elevators. Here in the Philippines, they have elevator attendants that operate the elevators. But the problem with that is they don't give priority to elderly and those in wheelchairs or electric wheelchairs. Even though the sign is posted, and mind you, even though there's an escalator directly beside or across from the elevator. Now, the first time that, let's say we arrived in the Philippines using the wheelchair for my mother, okay, fine. Once the elevator opens, I see it's full, fine. I'll wait up, maybe for the next one. It's full again. And the next one. Now, the third time when that elevator opened up, I had to speak out. I don't care if I'm a BITCH, but I have to make it known to everybody in there. And I quote, this is exactly what I said. I had to speak in English so, everybody can understand. And also, I think the reason why I spoke English the first time was next to us also was, I think he was American. He was an expat foreigner, right? Using his electric wheelchair. He was next to me, and we were patiently waiting, me, my mother, and him. So once that elevator doors open, you know what I said? I said, "Excuse me. We need to get in this elevator. We have priority. Anyone in this elevator is healthy enough and able enough to catch the escalator right here, right next to you." Believe it or not, the attendant will not say a word. They just stared at me and they won't utter a word. It's as if they're afraid. But guess what? Lo and behold, a few people got off. I don't understand What is this with Filipinos and elevators, that they prefer using the elevator instead of using the escalators? Even though they're right next to each other, they're willing to wait. They're willing to wait to use the elevators. That's what I don't get it. But if you intend to come here and also would be in the same situation as my mother would be in, you have to be strong enough to voice yourself. Don't take it quietly. You have to let it be known, because they will not get off the elevator unless somebody says something. And you have to be proactive with that. So that's my experience with accessibility. Now with restaurants, unfortunately, I have not encountered a table in a restaurant that's high enough to accommodate a wheelchair that would fit under the table. So again, it's not accessible. I mean, they would be accessible to anyone, probably using a walker, but not a wheelchair or a electric wheelchair. So that's one of the problems. So then looking at that, I probably would be thinking maybe next time I would probably purchase an accessory table for my mom's wheelchair. So if the wheelchair couldn't fit directly under the restaurant table, maybe that's what we'll use, So that's so far my experience with that. Other than that, if you go to restaurants outside of a big mall, you'll be out of luck. 99% of them are not accessible. And it's so funny, even with the sidewalks, if you notice, sure, they have this designated handicap accessible pathway from the sidewalk to the street, sure. But guess what? Once you get on the sidewalk, there's no room for your wheelchair to go through. You got this huge post in your way. And not only that, the width of the sidewalk, if it's not in a big city like Iloilo City, it's no use. It's, the handicap accessibility that they have, from what I observed, is really only for, I guess, people on using canes or using walkers. Now, if you're an electric wheelchair, we had to use the main road on the side, which is really dangerous, So that's one thing to think about when you come here. So that's my beef also. Another thing too is the bathrooms. Bathrooms are not accessible to wheelchairs at all. So that's one thing to think about also. But guess what though? They're very helpful when you get out of the car. The security guards will help you. And they're very helpful with carrying your bags and all that. And don't forget to tip them also. They went out of their way to help you. I do that though. So wheelchair accessibility is one thing to think about when you come here. All right. With us, it's not a problem because I'm here for my mother, so I'm sort of the one helping out, helping her around with that. Speaking of wheelchair too, at the mall, I suggest if your loved ones needs the use of a wheelchair, I would suggest for you to bring your own, because at the mall, they probably have either one or two available. Even though it's free, that's the only number they have, one or two wheelchairs, and they're in a dilapidated condition. So that's one thing to think about too. So anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful morning. knowing that in 2 days it will be Christmas Day. So I hope everyone, you all have a happy holiday. Bye bye.